Hello and welcome to this video, Fatal and Friends. You see, recently I kickstarted a collection of board games which shared some similarities. They were all on the theme of Japan and they all turned out to be rubbish. Oh well. What surprised me, however, was that one of them wasn't a board game. One of them was an RPG. Never mentioned that before. Now, you might be thinking, well, this has got to be, you know, anime or ninjas or kaiju or something similar like that. No, this is the Japanese-themed role-playing type board game of Doing Your Laundry in Tokyo. Yeah, and the reason why we make this video is because what's inside here is it actually contains laundry. Bed sheets, shirts, that's another bed sheet, pants, that's supposed to be a bra. I don't know what this is for, I don't think anything ever uses it. Deck of cards. These are supposed to be magazines, little detergent tokens and actual machines. And yes, you are actually supposed to try and fit the laundry into these machines. And whether or not you can fit it in is a part of the game. This was designed by Jordan Draper, who's never done an RPG before. But supposedly assisting him was Luke Crane, Mr. Burning Wheel and Mr. Kickstarter RPG guy. You would have thought he would have warned him off some of the, well, flagrant errors made in this game. Also, there's these little things which are supposed to be newspapers, magazines. They do anything except this one, which I wonder if it's supposed to be Burning Wheel. Now, if we just got a copy of that lying around in the laundrette. So, how do we play this? Well, first of all, we need to set up the machines. You have one of these is for each number less, one less than the number of players, and you always have both of these. These are dryers. Now you'll probably notice that there's a total of 4 washers in the pack. According to the game box, you can play this with up to 7 players. So in fact, unless if you've got more than 5 players, you're kind of screwed because you've only got 4 washers. Next step is to do a bunch of random generation. We do this bunch of random generation using the card deck. And our first step, this heap of laundry out of the way, our first step is to work out what season it is by looking it up on a chart in the book. So, we draw a pillowcase. Pillowcase is midwinter, between winter and spring. Now we see what time it is. It is noon. And what the weather is, another pillowcase, cloudy. You'll notice the season doesn't modify the weather. Now, they don't pay any attention whatsoever to the season. In fact, it doesn't do anything in the game. You would think that with seasonality actually being a big thing in Japan, that they would actually have made that matter a bit more than it does, but there we go. Oh, and by the way, on the bottom of the box, I didn't show you this, on the bottom of the box there's a picture of a llama vomiting a rainbow. I would actually have much preferred if this was a Jeff Minter game. I don't think Jeff Minter would ever design a role-playing game, but if he was involved in some way in it, I would be a lot happier. Put those back. Okay, now we have to make characters. You make your character using these tear-off character sheets. There's only like 10 of them, so it's like, yeah, if you were playing with 7 players, then you get like 2 games before you run out of them. You can print more of them online. The character generation is done with these tables, which are technically you can generate them by drawing clothes from the deck, but because they're just 6x6 tables, it's much more convenient to not use those and just use something that can provide a D6 roll. So our first roll is how polite are we? And we get a A 4. We are very polite. Now, when I first saw this game, I thought that your politeness was going to be your hit points, which would have been absolutely fantastic and very in theme. But no, it does go up and down during the game. It doesn't work like that. Our background, we need 2 D6 rolls, or D66, made style, where the 2 rolls are independent. We get another 4. And another 4. Wow, this thing keeps rolling 4s. So 4 and 4. We are a bicycle attendant. Okay, I'll have to actually look up what that is. There's a bunch of stuff in here about what the different roles are. We'll look at this for a moment. Our quirk or hobby is, if you come up 4, I'm going to throw you against the wall. 1. 1 and 4. Right, let's use the Tenra Bancho dice instead. 3. Okay, 1 and 3. You wear wool sweaters. If this has some effect again. And we also have to see what mood we are in. We are 4 and 5. Cuddly. Okay. Now at the bottom we then have to write down our complaint and our platitude, which is what we say depending on whether or not we manage to get our laundry done or not. So now our complaint is determined by our quirk, and our quirk was wool sweaters. Which doesn't actually seem to have an entry in the book. Sorry, no, it's in the book, but it's labelled as cable knit wool sweaters in the book, so you can't find it. I'm cold, this is drafty, I should not have put my sweater in the dryer, it has shrunk. I should also have not shoved it in my body pillow last night. This game has at least 2 references to body pillows, and that's the second one. Then our mood, we already decided that was cuddly, and also we have to randomly draw a card for a platitude, which is what we say if everything went well. So, draw a card, and we get a pillowcase, which means you must have done this before. Wow, yes, it's not the first time you've done your laundry. Okay. Now, we are playing with 2 players, so I guess we ought to at least say there's another player. Obviously, I'm never going to attempt to recruit anyone to play this because it's completely broken. So instead, our second player will be played by this cool Japanese guy, Standee, who came with one of the other games. Yari does it. So that's all I know they say. So let's determine his character. Where's my other dice gone? There we go. Right. Determine his character. He is 5, also very polite. 3 and 3. Focus. A writer. 2 and 1. Quirk or hobby, low riders. Wow, well he looks the part, certainly. And mood, 3 and 1. In love. Oh, right. And his complaint will be for low riders. I scraped my skid plate and it fell off. I can't wash my leather jacket in this machine. Have you seen my black pants? Oh well, it did pick the perfect character for him, you've got to admit. And then a card for the platitude, which is a black pillowcase. Black pillow is the same as it was before. God, I'm having no luck with this. Let's cut and draw another one. A washer, which is... I hope I can do better next time. Right, okay, so he didn't do his washing very well, obviously, because he didn't fit his leather jacket in. Now comes the bit that completely breaks the game. Because we have to see what laundry we want to do. To do this, we draw cards and we keep drawing them until we get a dryer. There is only one dryer in the whole only two dryers in the whole deck. So the chance of getting quite a few cards before we get to them is rather high. So let's draw first. I get a white shirt. A washer card equates to some detergent. Another washer equates to some more detergent. White pants. A black pillowcase, that's over there. Some black underwear, I think that's a sock, yeah. Actually, we've got 1, 2, the limit is 5 items. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 so far. Oh, and then dryer, so we stop drawing. So this is what we've got to wash, plus the underwear, which I'll fish out later on. Now we reshuffle the deck and we see what this guy, let's call him, I don't know, Show. That's a pretty that's the common name for that kind of guy, I think, has got to do. A white sheet. A black bra, I guess it's his wife's. The black socks. And that's all. Right. And at this point, we also get money. You get 1 money per item. The maximum number of clothing items you can get is 5. You get 1 coin, that's these little fellows, for each item you've got up to 3. So he will have 3 and I will have 3 as well. So that's more or less the game, because what it's trying to do is to set up a sort of negotiation situation, a la something like Winterhall. The idea is that we both negotiate with each other for who is going to get the scarce resources, which in this case means this washer. In order to do laundry, you need a coin, a bottle of detergent, and a machine to be free. So, yeah, it is very sort of Winterhorn or some of the earlier Vincent Baker type games. There's, of course, a snag here that you might have already noticed. Show here doesn't have any detergent. I have all the detergent. So, basically, there's literally, he has no negotiation position. He can't wash anything without me, so I just basically am going to decide if I let him share the machine with me or not. And there's no reason not to, because there's no time limit. You can do 2 loads, you can do 3 loads until the resources run out. So there's more or less nothing to negotiate about here. So, yeah. After a day, what you're supposed to do is to look at this chart, which determines what happens. Because you're trying to do 2 things. You're trying to do your laundry, and you're trying to express your mood. And you want to do both. If you do both, you get more polite. If you don't express your mood, you get less polite, and you also potentially get a second mood. If you don't do all your laundry, you don't get more polite, and you have to finish off the rest the next day. And if you do express your mood, you can draw a new mood as well. There is actually a conflict resolution system, which basically goes that you draw cards. You take turns drawing cards until one of you draws a machine and the other one doesn't. So, for example, let's suppose that Show here decides that he's prepared to thump me if I don't give him my... I don't know, or if he just wants... I mean, yeah, technically, I presume it says you can just use it to resolve an argument, which seems to make the rest of the game pointless, but there we go. Also says you can use it to decide whose pants are whose, which is really silly because there's only 1 of each type, you know, like there's not 2 white shirts. and only one person can get the card. If it comes up again on the second draw, then you just ignore it. So he draws a shirt, I draw some pants, he draws some more pants, I draw a dryer. So I have won because I drew a machine on a round when he didn't draw one, and that means that for absolutely no reason I refuse to give him any detergent and he's completely screwed. So yeah, if you're going to do a negotiation game, you have to make it reliably come up with situations that require negotiation. Now there is one other thing. You actually play 3 rounds. You play 3 rounds representing 3 days, and you re-randomise the weather and the time every time you do it. But you also roll a random event. So suppose we were doing day 2. Our day 2 random event is a 2 and a 5. Which is a spill. Someone has spilled coffee on the door and just left it there. That's all. I mean, there's doesn't say anything about how it affects anything, so I guess it's just something that you might refer to. I don't know. I mean, a lot of them are like this. Like, there's a megaphone van shouting "Abe, Abe, Abe." There's a lost dog begging for food at the door. I'll probably just spend most of my time petting the dog and not talk to anyone in the laundrette if that was the case, but there we go. Then day 3, you get another event. And this is an even more extreme event. So a 3 and a 5. A 3 and a 5 would be monkey. There's a monkey alone in the laundromat sitting on one of the branches and looking around. Again, no idea what this does. It would presumably ruin everyone's laundry. I have no idea. I mean, some of these are just extreme, like kaiju. There is a loud thumping song. The kaiju is Oroken. What, so Godzilla's going to attack and I've got to work out if I do my laundry or not. That just seems to be a bit of a scaling problem. And I should also mention that there's this other one here, body pillow. You realise that you are actually a body pillow being brought to the laundrette by one of the other players. God knows how that works in a 2-player game, and presumably you still have to do your laundry if that happens. So, yeah. So, yeah, I just had to show this because all the extra bits are so weird, but it just makes the fundamental design error, which, to be fair, comes up in a lot of these board games, of having a negotiation type game with a random setup that can very easily generate a situation where there's no meaningful negotiation. I mean, Ultimate Werewolf, Ultimate Vampire have a strong tendency to do this too, but this one takes the biscuit because they put all of this massive overproduction in for this game that basically just doesn't work. Thank you.